Am I on yet? Are we live? Okay, I'm on now. Cool. What's up, everybody? Byron here, aka the Pinoy Powerhouse, aka the handsomest man alive here. I'm doing this solo. I think it's 1 a.m. late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Just gonna do a quick recap of and quick takeaways from WrestleMania, and the end of WrestleMania week, which ended yesterday with SmackDown. I just wanted to share some quick thoughts on WrestleMania itself, and kind of Oh, first off, I also want to wish everybody a happy Wrestling New Year's, seeing that it's kicked off or ended, however you want to look at it, with WrestleMania this week. So, Happy New Year's. Let's just jump right into it, I guess. I originally predicted, excuse me, it's kind of late, sorry. I originally predicted this WrestleMania to be maybe the best ever, if not. Check out a couple weeks episodes ago. I think I stated that I had a feeling this WrestleMania would have been, one of the best. One, because this is the first event since Corona, COVID, whatever you want to call it, that the live fans are back, which was amazing. Although they were supposed to be in pods, it looks like everyone were just kind of scattered. But that's a whole nother episode, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on our episode tomorrow with the rest of the guys. But yeah, overall, this WrestleMania was pretty amazing. It didn't quite, reach the best WrestleMania ever level. However, it's still one of the most one of the best WrestleManias, I think, maybe top 5 all time. I know that's a bit, people listening might be like, what the fuck? How is that possible? But it is. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. So a couple quick thoughts on WrestleMania. This episode's gonna be really short because we're recording the full episode tomorrow with the rest of the boys. But my first initial thought after both nights of WrestleMania was, obviously, night 1 was ridiculous. If night 2 was anything like night 1, it would have been the best WrestleMania ever. However, night 2 kind of was a little slower, although it was still good, but wasn't, top shelf shit like night 1 was. My first initial thought after both nights was Sasha Banks is, Mrs. WrestleMania. She's big match Sasha. Like, she deserves all the nicknames. She's probably the best female wrestler of all time. Any big time match that she's in, she delivers. And not only does she deliver, she makes the opponent across from her also bring their A game. So there's something to be said about that. Her and Bianca's match was probably tied for match of the weekend, although match of the week. There was like 5 other contenders. You can argue that the Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Edge triple threat match was the match of the week, or even like Walter, Tommaso, but anywho, I think, one of my first initial thought is Sasha Banks is the shit. She's the best female wrestler of all time. Probably going to go down as one of the best wrestlers, period. Charlotte's probably close, maybe, and she hasn't reached like the height that Becky did at her prime, but overall, she's women's wrestling equivalent to Shawn Michaels at this point. She's ridiculous. She every big match she delivers. Her mannerisms, her ability to bring out the best in her opponent, and her performance. It's ridiculous how good she is. Speaking on that match with Bianca, it's crazy how that every time Sasha has a big match with somebody, they always have that emotional. You can see the real life emotion break kayfabe in a sense, just like how Bianca and her had that little emotional moment, and it's getting me kind of choked up right now because that shit was pure bliss as a wrestling fan. And you knew from there that we were gonna watch something special, and the crowning of Bianca Belair, um, was a thing of beauty. It was one of the more memorable moments of the weekend, if not the most memorable. Um, she has the ability, Bianca, that is, to make simple moves look phenomenal, and that's purely, it's not purely genetic, but a lot of it goes to her genetics. That gorilla press she did, the 450s, that match had everything. She made like a regular body slam seem so big, and I think that's something that's not done a lot in today's wrestling. Um, yeah, that match was ridiculous. Probably one of the best. It's right up there with Bailey Sasha 1. Yeah, and those two are clearly the best female matches, especially at What's at Stake. The argument could be made that this match was even bigger because it was at WrestleMania and it was a main event. So props to her. Also, I forget that Bianca has one of the best themes in all of wrestling. That theme goes so hard. But yeah, Sasha is Mrs. WrestleMania, and yeah, she always delivers. It's crazy. And congrats to Bianca, well deserved. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what she's gonna do with the title. Hopefully, she can take herself to that next level. And it's crazy to think that Sasha's significantly younger than like maybe 3 or 4 years younger than ooh, hear that, than Bianca. So hope to see more feuds. Another big takeaway from the weekend, obviously, night one, Bad Bunny tore that shit down. It was crazy. He's better than all you Marks' favorite wrestlers, to be honest. Like, let's just be real. Like, he spent a lot of time in the ring. With the easily the best celebrity performance in wrestling history. With apologies to Pat McAfee, but just the in ring time alone, the selling. The dude did the Canadian Destroyer, which is insane to even try to execute. Shout out to John Morrison for Johnny Mundo for pulling that off with him. And a lot of credit has to go to the Miz. Like, people hate, hate, hate on him, and like people are. I saw the IWC saying, or your typical Marks saying, "Oh, you were WWE champion. Now what? What do you mean now what?" He had easily the most watched. I would believe the most watched match of Mania for casuals and non wrestling fans. Um, Apparently Bad Bunny had the biggest pop, and a lot of that has to do with the heat that the Miz drew. Not only because Bad Bunny was in the match, but yeah, I mean, shit, that dude's killing. He made it. Like, he made this match pretty important, and he set it up for where Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, and Johnny put on a really good match all together. Congrats to Bad Bunny. I was a fan, and I think I was going ape shit and saying how I'm the biggest fan. And then I started to listen to his music. I still don't get it too much. I get how fun it is, but Bad Bunny's cool in my book. So much props to him, and shout out to the Miz and Mundo for making that match bigger than it should have been. And yeah, apparently, listening to all my favorite wrestling podcasts and stories from the live event, it seems like it was said that Bad Bunny had the biggest pop of the night, which was kind of insane. So congrats to him and everyone involved in that match. Uh, yeah, I mean, I was floored on how crazy good that match was. Way better than it should have been. What else? Cesaro looks like he may be the next big thing for Roman, which we're all pumped to see. And we saw on SmackDown that he may be one of the next in line to get a crack at Roman. So, and that match was star making. Obviously, friends and I would always say, "Come on, when's he gonna get his push?" And the saying goes, "Better late than never." But yeah, it's time. Like, he won a WrestleMania match clean against Seth Rollins, which is always a big deal. and you can tell they really pushed him. It was a really, really fucking good match as well. Um, hoping it really built something. I mean, even if he does lose to Roman, I hope it makes him look good. That's the thing that people don't understand. If you lose to a the champ, it isn't that bad. It just depends on the circumstance at that point. And maybe he gets a championship run. Let's hope. But I'm glad he's finally getting main event type a main event type look. So congrats to him. Looking forward to that. Yeah, so one thing that kind of surprised me a lot, and I don't know if it was I would say it's a pleasant surprise, was Bobby beating the shit out of Drew McIntyre. Like most everyone, I was pretty skeptical and a little annoyed that they broke up the Hurt Business, but I can see why they did it now, and I think they succeeded at what they wanted to do. This made the win made Bobby look even more badass, just being by himself, not depending on others. And I think that's what they wanted. They gave him the new entrance, so they had plans for Bobby to be this big dominant champion. And I think the Hurt Business was getting to the point where they were almost a face, and I think they want to keep Bobby heel adjacent. So, and they can always reunite the Hurt Business. Um, Maybe have different iterations of it. Maybe with Ricochet and Keith Lee, like I talked about last week. Who knows? But there's always room and time. And yeah, I mean it's working out. The whole Bobby Lashley breaking up the Hurt Business experiment totally, it's coming together. Hopefully it continues to grow and we have Bobby have a long title run, which he deserves. And maybe another, iteration of the Hurt Business. We'll see. Either way, like things will always come full circle. And I think Cedric has a really good future. And at this point, I don't feel too bad for Shelton because at in this point of his career, he's here just to put people over. Um, yeah, so what else? What else? The Roman triple threat match was ridiculous. It was insanely good. Both main events delivered. This was arguably the match of the weekend too. Like it's insane how good Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge are. Like sometimes I take it for granted, and we're gonna be all sad once Edge and Daniel Bryan are gone. And yeah, I mean that finish was ridiculous. We didn't see them, I don't think, on SmackDown, so I'm kind of curious where they go going forward, and I hope Roman and Cesaro get like ample build up to the next big pay per view. Yeah, I'm just unsure of where they go from here for Daniel Bryan and Edge. I know maybe Daniel Bryan's taking a break, but they did it. They executed a great main event to close the weekend. Yeah, I mean, shit. With that match had high expectations, and I thought they exceeded it. So yeah, the last couple minutes of the match had me pretty tense, and yeah, I think and that was clearly the right ending because Roman's gonna be dominant for a while and still should be going into the new wrestling year. So yeah, fantastic fucking shit. And here's my last thought. My biggest takeaway from WrestleMania weekend. This is going to be a bit controversial, but I think it's true. I don't know if it's controversial, but people are going to disagree. For all the talk about WWE not making new stars, ooh, nasty. Not, yeah. For all the talk about WWE not making new stars, you can no longer say that about WWE. Sure, just because they're not making who you think you want to be a star or who you think is a star, examples being Ricochet or Aleister Black, doesn't mean they're not making new stars. Look who won or came out big at WrestleMania this past week. Let's just start with women. Bianca Belair. She's on her way to become one of the biggest stars. She was from NXT and they didn't mess her up. She came in to WWE and boom, rocket strapped to her back, she's the champ. Main event in WrestleMania, beat Sasha Banks in a classic match. Star making performance. Fuck it, let's stay with the women. Rhea Ripley. Now she just barely got on Raw, and now she wins a Mania Championship match versus Asuka, an established superstar. That's another star making performance and another NXT product. What else? Dabo Kato, or whatever how you want to say. He's now, he's what. It's funny how they pretended to not know who he is, but it's great to see that they put him in a meaningful spot as bodyguard to Apollo Crews. Terrible accent. But yeah, he came out, and next on the list would be Apollo Crews himself. Originally, I thought he was destined to be in the same lane as Too Cold Scorpio, just a great athlete with no personality, but he's fucking turned it around clearly. Yeah, that's 4 people. Omos, however you want to say it, is now clearly made. They put him in a spot and highlighted him and gave him a tag team belt. They put him in a spot with one of the best tag teams in a while, which is the New Day, and one of the best wrestlers in the game, if not the best, AJ Styles, and they booked him perfectly for that. It was perfect. Now he's a meaningful character. That's 5 people I just named. I mean, arguably you can say Cesaro. He elevated himself from mid card to main event status through WrestleMania right now. You can even argue Bad Bunny, obviously. But yeah, to say that WWE doesn't make stars or everybody doesn't get made, no, it's just not their time at the moment. And that argument is awful because new stars are always going to be made, and I think they did a great job of putting over new talent this WrestleMania, and it makes me very excited for the new year. So that was probably my biggest takeaway from WrestleMania this week, and it looks again, it wasn't the best WrestleMania ever. However, it was probably one of the most memorable, and it's still one of the, I'd say, top 5 or 6 Mania of all time. Yeah, delivered. Most of the matches delivered. Yeah, even Riddle in a loss looked really good. Yeah, I think they're on their way. So that was like a quick 10 to 15 minutes with the handsomest man alive, the master of everything, the Pinoy powerhouse, me. So yeah, stay tuned this week, guys. I think we're gonna record the full episode tomorrow with the rest of the boys, but those were my random wrestling tidbits from this week and WrestleMania takeaways. Just taking a look at my notes, making sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, it looks like we're good. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys, have a good week. This is probably gonna come out Monday or Tuesday, so yeah, hope you guys have a good week and don't kill yourselves. Hope you guys have a good week, and yeah. Yes, sorry I missed last week's episode. Just a quick life update. Work has been pretty busy. I'm also coaching again. Our season's kicked off, and I'm working on a couple music projects. Shout out to my music project, actually. Shout out to Georgie Schultz. Working with her on some tracks, and thank you to Elle. She's obviously the vocal on my single, and she's also on another track that's gonna make the record, so that should be exciting. But yeah, I'm glad I'm back in some fashion. let's get the show on the road, I guess.